What you are watching here is more than a military transport drill. It is a training exercise built around one critical idea: mobility. On one side, you have HIMARS, the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, a lightweight, highly mobile launcher designed to deliver precision fires while staying fast and flexible. On the other, you have the C-17 Globemaster III, one of the U.S. Air Force's key airlift aircraft built to move troops and cargo quickly across long distances. Put those two together, and the mission becomes clear. This kind of training is about learning how to move a combat-capable rocket system from the ground into strategic airlift and potentially into a completely different operational area in a very short amount of time. That is what makes this important. Because in modern warfare, it is not enough to have firepower. You have to be able to move that firepower fast. If you enjoy watching real military training and understanding what is really happening behind the footage, subscribe now. This channel breaks down real exercises, real equipment, and the meaning behind the operation. So you are not just watching the footage, you are understanding it. HIMARS is a mobile rocket and missile launcher designed for speed, flexibility, and rapid repositioning. Its value is not only in what it can launch, but in the fact that it can move quickly, operate with mobility, and support modern long-range fires missions. That mobility is the key to understanding everything in this footage. A system like this is dangerous not simply because it exists, but because it can be transported, deployed, and brought into action faster than many traditional artillery systems. So when people look at HIMARS, they should not just see a launcher, they should see a mobile strike asset. And a mobile strike asset becomes even more important when it can be integrated with airlift. The C-17 is the aircraft that makes long-distance movement possible. According to the U.S. Air Force, the C-17 is built for rapid strategic delivery of troops and cargo, including movement to main operating bases or directly to forward bases in a deployment area. That means it is not just a cargo plane in the ordinary sense. It is a platform that connects mobility, logistics, and operational reach. In this training, the aircraft is not the star of the show by itself. Its role is to act as the bridge between where the launcher is now and where it may need to be next. That is why the training matters so much. Because moving a launcher on roads is one kind of mobility. Moving it by air is something much bigger. Now the system is not just mobile, now it is strategically mobile. This kind of exercise is built around coordination. The launcher crew has to understand movement procedures. The air crew has to understand loading requirements. The loadmasters have to guide cargo placement, balance, restraint, and safety procedures. And everyone involved has to work with timing, discipline, and clear communication. That is why the footage may look calm and procedural, because this is not chaos. This is choreography. Every movement has a reason. Every pause has a purpose. Every signal, every check, and every adjustment is part of making sure the system can be moved safely and efficiently. A training event like this is not just about seeing whether the launcher fits. It is about building familiarity between crews. It is about reducing mistakes. It is about making the loading process smoother, faster, and more reliable. And most importantly, it is about making sure that Army and Air Force personnel can work as one team when time matters. One of the most important things happening here is joint integration. This is not one branch training alone. This is a coordinated effort between soldiers and airmen, with HIMARS personnel and Air Force loadmasters working together in the same mission set. That matters because modern operations depend on connection between systems, crews, and services. A launcher can be effective. An aircraft can be effective. But real operational strength comes from integration. If different units cannot communicate clearly, move efficiently, and execute shared procedures under pressure, then even powerful equipment becomes harder to use at speed. That is why training like this exists. It is not just to prove that the equipment works. It is to prove that the people, procedures, and platforms work together. And in real military operations, that difference is enormous. The real purpose of this kind of exercise is readiness. A military force does not become credible just because it owns advanced systems. It becomes credible when it can position those systems quickly and support them with trained personnel and reliable procedures. That is what this footage is really about. It is about shortening the time between decision and deployment. It is about making distance less of a problem. And it is about turning a launcher from a static asset into a rapidly movable capability. That gives commanders more options. It gives them flexibility. It gives them speed. And it gives them the ability to respond in ways that are harder to predict. This does not mean that every training event points to immediate conflict, but it does show how seriously modern armed forces treat mobility, interoperability, and rapid deployment. And that alone tells you why this kind of exercise deserves attention. So while this may look like a simple transport drill, it is actually a lesson in how modern military power moves. HIMARS represents mobile firepower, the C-17 represents strategic reach, and the training between them represents readiness. What you are really seeing here is not just a launcher entering an aircraft. You are seeing the process of turning firepower into deployable force. You are seeing how different branches train to function together. And you are seeing how logistics, when done right, becomes part of combat capability itself. Because in the end, military strength is not only about what a weapon can do once it arrives. It is also about how fast, how safely, and how efficiently it can get there. If you want to keep seeing real military training, real equipment, and real operations explained in a clear and simple way, subscribe to the channel. Here, we break down what these exercises mean, how the systems work, and why this kind of training matters. Subscribe now and stay close to the footage that shows how modern military power is really prepared.